Brothers has released the first trailer for the Point Break remake. The original film came out in '91 and was directed by Kathryn Bigelow. In the movie, a young FBI agent, Johnny Utah, goes undercover to infiltrate a team of thrill-seeking athletes suspected of major robberies with ringleader named Bodhi. This version stars Luke Bracey as Utah, originally played by Keanu Reeves, and Edgar Ramirez as Bodhi, originally played by Patrick Swayze. Dennis, what did you think of the trailer?
Not a fan. I did not like it. It doesn't have the vibe of Point Break, the original one. The original was not a masterpiece by any stretch of the imagination, but it had a nice, cool 90s vibe to it. The action was very well done by Kathryn Bigelow, and there was a chemistry and tension between Patrick Swayze and Keanu Reeves that is missing from this. Also, why is the trailer, everything's like green in it? I saw someone mentioned online, why is this like the Matrix version of Point Break? And just, I don't know, none of the action scenes or the dialogue just captured me at all. And it also has a lot of those typical sound cues that we hear in trailers now. Like, and I don't know, I just didn't feel any type of Point Break to me. What about you, Ramirez?
I didn't either. But you know that when Kathryn Bigelow watched the trailer, she was like toasting a glass of wine to herself. She's like, yeah, I got this. I just don't understand why they wanted to remake this. One, it's not even like the original, which I guess to their credit is a good thing, because that's what you should do with a remake. I'm always saying, if you're going to do it, especially classic, because this is a classic to me, mister, that you should make it feel different. But in this way, I feel like it diluted it. They're adrenaline junkies. And Luke Bracey, I'm not sold on him yet. I mean, he's very nice to look at, sure, but Keanu Reeves, part of his charm was that he's very self-aware. He overacts. That's part of his appeal. And Luke Bracey, I don't feel like he knows he's not a great actor yet. And I'm sorry for all the Luke Bracey fans out there. Again, he might be a delightful human, but I just, from what I've seen, November Man, just the other films he's been in, I'm not sure he can lead an action franchise yet. Edgar Ramirez, I think he's a great actor, but he's no Bodhi. And so it just feels mismatched. I wish they would have named them something else and just completely been like loosely based on Point Break about adrenaline junkies and robbers and all of that, because there's a lot there that they could make into a good story, but it just feels like they went in a direction I'm not as interested in. But I will say the cinematography is beautiful. So there's one credit, being an optimist that I am, but no, I can't say this one hooked me.
Mark?
This is really tough for me, guys. I love Point Break. I think it's one of the great action movies. I think it's the best one that ever came out in the 90s, because you got to see Keanu Reeves learn how to act, as you got to see Gary Busey slowly go towards Crazyville. But Patrick Swayze in his absolute prime is what I most felt missing from the trailer. All the surrounding stuff, the adrenaline junkie vibe that I got, the fact that they're robbers and they're thrill seekers, they take extreme sports to the next level, that stuff looked cool to me. I liked that they were skiing and they were surfing, they were base jumping. That's neat. You can put that in like a Fast Five kind of movie where, yeah, it's a heist film and I don't know who's the good guys and the bad guys anymore, but there was something else. There was another dynamic at play in the original Point Break, particularly with Bodhi's character. Bodhi was almost like a cult. Like, you see this guy and you know you're supposed to be rooting against him, but you just like him so much you want to hang out with that dude. And then Edgar Ramirez, God love him, he's a fantastic actor. He comes on the scene and they introduce him as Bodhi, and I'm like, that ain't Bodhi.
No.
That ain't your daddy's Bodhi. I didn't feel anything when I saw that dude. He just seemed like another dude who's like, yeah, we rob some stuff and then we jump off mountains and all right. So comparing it to the original Point Break is going to be a disaster on multiple levels. As a film on its own, I think it can be fine. I didn't hate watching the trailer for all the reasons I just mentioned, but it didn't feel like Point Break.
Well, you brought up Fast and the Furious. I mean, that's a good thing to bring up, because why don't they just do that? With Fast and the Furious was basically a Point Break ripoff, right?
Totally.
But there was kind of some chemistry between Paul Walker and Vin Diesel. With this one, why not just call it something else and just say it's, inspired by Point Break? But calling it Point Break, it's like, I just don't get that.
Because then it's failing by comparison, opposed to just doing an adrenaline junkie film where we all know it's kind of loosely inspired anyway. And like you mentioned, that relationship. Chemistry, yes, but tension. There was always this beautiful tension and layer of respect between Johnny Utah and Bodhi, played by Reeves and Swayze. I didn't feel it at all. And when he first is introduced, he's like smiling, I'm Bodhi. Hey, like that wasn't it. Like when Swayze was on screen as this character, he was so charismatic. He was magnetic. You would just pull to him. And here I love Edgar, but he's not right for this kind of role.